First, I'm glad that you could join the webinar. You are welcome. My name is Аймухамедова. I'm an English teacher of Braille and Sarin Specialized Boarding School. Today at the webinar, we will speak about using active methods of teaching for the formation of students' communicative competence at the English lessons. Oh, no, I have some problems. Okay, I can say that our webinar is about using active methods at the English lessons. And before speaking the methods, let's consider what is the method is it? And what kind of methods do you know? What is it? And we know that there are different meanings of the method. According to the Webster International Dictionary, it often uses expressions such as a procedure or process for attaining a goal, or a systematic procedure, technique, or a set of rules, very often related to a science or art. Hankes claims that methods have definite steps or stages and sub-behaviors that are recurrent and applicable to various subject matters. And for our purposes, we can consider the method to be a well-staged procedure to teach a language. Now, what do you see in the picture? Yes, it's a glass of cocktail. I present you a guiding metaphor to help you think deeply about principles of teaching and language acquisition. As you see, we compare a glass of cocktails with a lesson. That is, the lesson is a cocktail. With the help of metaphor, we determine that learning can be a delicious experience like a cocktail, but sometimes we can hurt that experience without proper methods. Therefore, it's vital to provide a modern lesson with methods, tools, and content. The main source of the contents, it is a program, and we can add into the program different programs from YouTube and other networks. Today we speak about active learning methods, and we should understand if we can't make information simple and understood, there is no way that students will be able to learn. And here we can use active learning methods. What kind of active learning methods do you know? Or what kind or which of them do you use most of all? Can you say? Or maybe write, maybe type them in the chat. What methods do you use?
For example, discussion.
What?
Methods of active learning.
What kind of methods, yes, of active learning do you use at the lessons? Or do you like best of all?
As for the beginning of the lesson, brainstorming.
Okay, thank you.
Without saying.
Okay, thanks a lot. I think that's enough. And now here you can see some of these active learning methods which are most frequently used at the lessons. These are carousel, clustering, collage, consequence wheel, constructing walls, creative matrix, dartboard evaluation, diamond ranking, dot voting, fact or opinion, fishbone strategy, hot seating, flying words, walking debates, using photographs, 2 stars and a wish, traffic lights, snowballing. And there are a lot of different techniques. And the main merit of these methods that we can use at every stages of the lessons, such as engaging, studying, and activating. In the engaging, this stage where you get the learner's interest, if it's at the beginning of the lesson, it's also where you will set the context. And here you can use exciting pictures or video clips, cluster, fact opinion, associations, brainstorming. And in this stage, the main matter is building engagement. And it's also about personalization, encouraging learners to relate the material to themselves or making predictions about the material and lessons. And the second is studying. Learners should look at the target language, notice how it looks, sounds, and make sure they can produce it accurately. Here we use carousel, collage, consequence wheel, fishbone strategy, 6 thinking hats. And for example, collage is one of the loved by students, especially how we say, kinesthetic students, because here they express yourself with the help of emotions, and they do it in the visual and engaging, creative way. Consequence wheel. This activity encourages pupils to think about the direct and second order consequences of a particular event or action. Pupils map these consequences in a visual manner. Fishbone strategy similar to the consequence wheel, but there is a difference because here pupils explore causes and effects. 6 thinking hats was developed by Edward de Bono, and it's used now. It's very engaging and complicated methods. It can help students to look at problems from different perspectives, because each thinking hat is a different style of thinking. It can also help students to avoid possible pitfalls or obstacles before they have committed to a decision. Each of these methods or techniques requires high level of thinking, making decision skills. These activities help to convey their ideas, make suggestions, and encourage communication. And here, the main point, accuracy of the target language. Next, it's activation. Here, learners should be able to do activities that promote communication, that everyone can get involved in. This could involve writing activities as well as spoken. Here we use such techniques as traffic lights, 2 stars and a wish, dot plot evaluation, snowball. Traffic lights, it's simple, but at the same time, good technique for getting feedback. It indicates how well they achieved what was expected by the end of a lesson. 2 stars and a wish. This method encourage constructive peer assessment amongst individuals or groups of pupils. This peer assessment technique will ultimately develop a pupil's own ability to evaluate and improve their own work. It allows pupils to see different approaches and outcomes to a task and to modify future work as a result. That what evaluation, it's the easiest way of easiest way to conclude the lesson, and it it's better used if you have a little time, because here there is no, it's non-verbal, technique, and it involves no writing. And the focus of this stage is communications and fluency. Here, I can say that we, at the beginning, we can say that it's very vital to have methods, tools, and program. Now I want to say about teacher talk. In spite of using modern techniques, interesting content, you will have no progress in teaching students if you don't pay attention to teacher talk. You should make meaning clear. Your explanation shouldn't be very complicated. Try to do difficult things simply. In the case of solving this problem, it's necessary to use body language. There is so much a teacher can do to help learners understand through the use of hands, eye contact, and movement in a classroom. Here we can use such active learning methods as rotating circles, running dictation, greetings with elbows, walking debates, and back-to-back. And there is one powerful technique like scaffolding. It's our help for students to provide them neither complicated information nor easy. If the theme is difficult, they won't be motivated to investigate it well. If the topic is too easy, they won't have a motivation to understand. And only have well-planned lesson with interesting information which convenient to their age and interest, they could want to share it with classmates and make up dialogues and monologues. And there is one vital peculiarity of a modern lesson is a tool. Nowadays, especially in the period of distance learning, we have a vast collection of them. They are Padlet, Flipgrid, WordWall, Kahoot, Quizzes, Google Forms, Online TestPad, and others. But I want to present you some of them which I used most of all. It's one of them. It's a Padlet. Padlet can be used as a tool to encourage collaboration outside the classroom. Assignments from different students can be put together in one blank wall, and there students can post text, images, videos, and audio. I ask students to brainstorm ideas, predict what they are going to read or listen, and ask them to post their ideas to a Padlet bot. This may maximize this phase of the lesson, as all learners will have access to each other's ideas. Also, it is an effective and quick way to systemize ideas generated in this phase of the lesson. Here you can see useful ways to use Padlet, and I show you some of my Padlets. Here you can see a Padlet of it's made by my students. They are in the 8th grade. We have the theme we have theme TV programs and channels, and their task was to make a sequence for a favorite channel or TV program. And students, pupils type here their sequence. For example, Adil, he take Galileo. It thinks that he thinks that is exciting, entertaining, develops, rejoices, entertains. It's very exciting, and Galileo, it's TV program. And here you can see some works of my students. Next, here, the task of students was write a short text about a cultural festival, and here they use Venn diagram, and they compare two festivals. They can download into the Padlet or can type. Here the pupils of the 8th grade, and they download their copybooks. Next, you see here mixed works. Some pupils type their works and some download their works. And in Padlet, we have an opportunity to download not only their photographs, but photographs from internet. Here I use such methods, active learning, like flying words. I divided a word combination into two parts, and the task is to write them into the whole one. For example, I divided the word snow diving and the task to unite these words and download the words which appropriate to this word. And you can see here how students do it. Next tool is Kahoot. Kahoot, it's very interesting for our students because it's organized like a game. Here, and it's a competitive game, and because of it, you can play it individual or in groups. It's very interesting for them and very engaging. Now you can see here I prepare for the 10th grade. Here 10th questions. Next the same, and I used it for 10th and 11th grade students for country studying. I used it for country studying, some questions for country studying. And here you can see the top of students who has a high scores. And one of my favorite, it's Google Forms. It's the easiest way of making up tests. We can use here open-ended questions, matching, questions with one or more answers. We can paste here the same pictures, videos, diagrams. It isn't dull like simple test, and we have their points after delivering us. It's very convenient, easy, and fast. Making a conclusion, I want to say that we should work and practice a lot. As far we know that practice makes perfect. If you have questions, go ahead, please. If you have no questions, thank you for your